All right, welcome to the Explainer. I am super pumped to take you through today's topic because we are looking at a literally game-changing leap in decentralized tech. We are unpacking Linkspreed's newest milestone, UIID version 2.6. Look, if you manage backend operations or you are building in the decentralized web, you know firsthand how insanely complex these systems get. Well, Linkspreed just dropped an update focused entirely on API tracking and admin analytics, and it brings, this literally, surgical precision to backend ops. We are talking total unrestricted visibility into the request lifecycle across the Web4 ecosystem. So get comfortable and let's just dive right in.
So, here's a question for you. How exactly do you track a micro-latency in a decentralized Web4 ecosystem? It is a massive headache, right? As our digital infrastructure shifts toward these highly decentralized, high-performance setups, the old-school ways of auditing API interactions, well, they just do not cut it anymore. Think about it. When your system is scattered across countless nodes, how on earth do you find those tiny, microscopic bottlenecks that are dragging everything down? That is the exact problem UIID v2.6 was built to solve. It puts industrial-grade logging and diagnostic tools directly into the hands of developers and system admins.
Section 1. The Web4 Identity Shift.
Okay, before we geek out over the technical specs of version 2.6, we really need to zoom out. We need to understand the broader context of Linkspread's Web4 initiative to see what exactly they are trying to build here. To grasp the impact of this update, we have to look at the foundation, UID, which stands for Universal Integrated Identity. Basically, it is a self-sovereign identity, or SSI, framework. This is the absolute heart of Linkspread's Web4 vision. The end goal here isn't just to build cooler tech, it is a fundamental philosophical shift. They want to return data ownership directly back to you, the user.
And this perfectly illustrates that massive paradigm shift. We are finally moving away from the old, tired model of centralized big tech silos. You know, those massive corporate databases hoarding all our passwords, our preferences, and our personal data, basically acting as giant targets for hackers. Instead, we are shifting towards self-sovereign identity. That is the USID model. It gets us completely away from those vulnerable centralized databases and puts the power and control right back into the hands of the individual.
Now, UID is built on three main pillars. First up, decentralized authentication. Simply put, there is no central database for a hacker to breach. Simple, right? Second, and honestly, I find this one the most fascinating, is privacy by design using zero-knowledge proofs, or ZKPs. This is absolutely incredible because it lets the system verify your identity attributes without ever exposing the sensitive data underneath. It literally proves you are who you say you are without showing the actual evidence. Mind-blowing stuff. And third, we have seamless interoperability. This means you can take this verified, secure identity across multiple different platforms without skipping a single beat.
Moving on to Section 2, the tracking breakthrough.
All right, here's where we get into the real meat of the v2.6 update. We are stepping way past standard, run-of-the-mill system logging into something much more intense. We are talking granular, forensic-level API tracking. Now, you might be wondering, why are milliseconds considered too slow? For years, measuring network requests in milliseconds was the gold standard, right? But here's the thing. In high-frequency, insanely complex decentralized environments, a millisecond is practically an eternity. When a bottleneck happens, a millisecond log just does not give you the resolution to see the true root cause. It is like trying to photograph a hummingbird's wings with an old flip phone camera. It is just a blurry mess.
So to fix this, UIID v2.6 completely abandons the millisecond, just throws it right out. Instead, it captures 1 billion data points every single second. 1 billion. It now logs every single developer-originated request with nanosecond precision, 1 billionth of a second. This is not just about keeping a record of activity anymore. This is about absolute forensic-level data capture.
But why go to that extreme? Why do we need that crazy level of detail? Well, it all comes down to catching micro-latencies during super complex operations. Things like cryptographic handshakes or decentralized database lookups. Remember those zero-knowledge proofs we just talked about? Yeah, those require some serious computational heavy lifting. If there is even a microscopic lag during that mathematical verification, nanosecond logging lets engineers pinpoint exactly where it happened, down to the exact line of code. This extreme precision is exactly what keeps UID the fastest identity solution on the market right now.
Which brings us to Section 3, Forensic Security and Analytics.
So speed is awesome for sure. But how does all this forensic data capture actually change back-end security and observability for the folks actually running these systems? Well, as the saying goes, transparency is the ultimate enemy of security threats. The new tracking engine in v2.6 enforces mandatory IP attribution. That means every single request is explicitly mapped right back to its source IP address. If you're a system admin, this is an absolute lifesaver. When your system is getting absolutely hammered with traffic, you need to instantly distinguish between a sudden spike in legitimate developer traffic and a malicious DDoS or brute force attack. Plus, v2.6 gives you deeply detailed status codes. We are going way beyond a generic success or error message here.
To put that into perspective, let's break down how this practically speeds up troubleshooting. Because v2.6 logs with such wild detail, the system can instantly categorize all this forensic data. You can clearly see the split between integration errors, like your 400-level codes, which usually just means a developer needs to tweak their API call, versus server-side exceptions. Those are the 500-level codes that mean your own infrastructure actually needs immediate attention. It literally turns days of agonizing debugging into an instant diagnosis.
Of course, capturing 1 billion data points a second is pretty much useless if it just looks like the code from the Matrix falling down your monitor, right? To solve that, all of this raw, forensic, nanosecond-level data is beautifully visualized in the newly revamped Professional Admin Analytics dashboard. This is not just some basic out-of-the-box readout. It is purpose-built for the intense, day-to-day realities of real-world back-end management.
Let's look at what you can actually do here. First off, real-time monitoring. You can literally sit there and watch latency spikes as they happen live. Second, and this is a real game changer, is developer key correlation. You can now track performance and usage patterns tied directly to specific API keys. So if one particular app integrated with your system goes rogue and starts causing a massive drain on your resources, you can isolate it immediately, manage your rate limiting efficiently, and allocate your server resources exactly where they need to be.
Now, let's jump to Section 4, the Zero Mock Promise.
We have talked a lot today about some seriously incredible features, right? Nanosecond tracking, mandatory IP attribution, advanced dashboards. But we really need to look at the underlying engineering philosophy that guarantees these tools actually work. This is a massive point of pride for the team at Linkspreed. They operate on what they call a zero mock philosophy. That means there are absolutely zero placeholder systems in this release. Every single feature we have covered in this explainer is fully functional and 100% production ready straight out of the box. The nanosecond tracking, not a premium add-on. The IP attribution, not an afterthought. They are integrated directly into the core kernel of the identity framework. It is real, it is baked in, and it is incredibly robust.
All right, let's quickly recap this massive upgrade. We have got 4 key areas that have been pushed to professional-grade reliability. Under precision, we have got that mind-blowing nanosecond-level timestamping. For security, there is mandatory IP attribution for every request. On the diagnostics front, comprehensive status code logging to absolutely kill debugging time. And finally, analytics, featuring a brand new administrative UI to visualize all your traffic and latency trends. Literally every layer of back-end observability has been drastically leveled up here.
And honestly, the best part of all this is not just some pie-in-the-sky roadmap presentation. Linkspreed UIID v2.6 is available right now. If you are a developer working within this ecosystem, you can, and honestly, you absolutely should, update your implementations today. Start taking advantage of these incredibly powerful forensic and observability tools right away.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought going back to that zero mock philosophy. Ask yourself this: if your identity framework relies on placeholders, is your data truly sovereign? As we all push further into Web4 and start demanding actual ownership of our digital lives, we have to demand technical integrity from the infrastructure supporting it. Linkspreed's v2.6 isn't just a shiny update to an analytics dashboard, it is a serious commitment to that integrity. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive gave you a crystal clear picture of exactly where back-end API tracking is heading. Keep questioning your tech stack, keep demanding better performance, and I will see you in the next one.